Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the Girl George and the Dragons Radio Show. I'm Girl George, and the Dragons is anyone I can drag on the show. So who is this I'm talking to?
This is CJ. Hey, how's it going, eh?
Say hey. So what you doing today?
Well, reviewing a film or two, practicing scales, and going forward. How are you today?
What kind of instrument you play?
12-string guitar, and
cool.
All types of guitars.
Where you live, San Francisco?
No, here in Eugene, Oregon.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Slightly cloudy, but nice day nonetheless.
How long have you been playing music?
Since 1963.
63, cool.
Yeah, I started off in the Bay Area playing some of the current stuff before the Beatles arrived. I had a friend of mine who was gifted, able to play any song he ever heard in his life, in any key. And so right away, having him as a third-grade friend and starting off with guitars like that, by the time I hit high school, we had it all covered.
So what bands were you with?
The last major group I was in disbanded in 1979, the Jet City Band out of Seattle. But I don't sing, so I'm just an instrumentalist, and I do charts, music charts for folks.
Did you know Mike Wilhelm?
No, I did not.
You didn't. Everybody knew him in San Francisco. He was with the Charlatans and then the Flaming Groovies.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that guy's very groovy. Very cool. Very cool.
Guitar player. Everyone knows Michael.
That's great, Girl George. So, I've missed your Sunday show so much because Kevin Pollak has a show on Sundays as well. He's from the East Bay.
Uh-huh. Is it on Blog Radio too? Is it on Blog Radio too?
No, he runs it through YouTube. But, Kevin Pollak, he's the actor.
Yeah, I know.
Comedian.
Didn't you know you can hear these things at any time? You can push that little thing at any time and hear it any time after it's been on, anytime you want to hear it. And then a week later, I take pictures from the person's site that I did talk to, and I put that with the voice, and
you're so clever.
Put that up on YouTube. So it's all on YouTube.
Oh, you rock.
So you can go back and see all 71 of them.
Oh, right on, girl.
With pictures and music and everything. Just look at Girl George Berkeley, Girl George Burke, B-E-R-K, on YouTube, and all of them are on and I have them in a playlist. So after the show, you'll see a clip that I got off of YouTube of them playing or whatever I can find. If there's a video of them or a movie of them, I'll put that right afterwards. So if you leave it play, it'll go right into something of them doing it live.
You be rocking. That is cool.
Yeah. They've made it really easy to do shit nowadays.
I don't know many folks that have such accuracy and effort. That's really cool.
Oh, I work hard. It takes me like 12 to 18 hours to edit the video to put it up on YouTube because I try to put the pictures where they sort of look like they're going with what we're talking about, and it's whatever pictures I stole off of your site, So.
Oh, that's a riot.
I've gotten pretty good at it.
I have a little combo band. We play all about here in the Eugene area, and on the 4th of July we play at Ken Babb's, the bus further. Yeah.
Are you going to go on the bus ride? They're going on a ride again. Yeah,
they're going on a ride. Now, I've been on the bus a lot. The Kesey's son, who manages that bus, does a great job. It's actually a remake because the original is so damaged.
Zane's been on the show, and Babs has already been on the show.
Oh, really? How righteous.
Yeah, go back and look at my archives. You'll find all kinds of shit there.
Wow. I'm impressed. That's very, very groovy. So we play out there on the 4th, and I used to do a lot of shows with my little combo with my wife, the Chris and Jerry show here, but recent years I've acquired epilepsy, so it's slowed down the activity quite a bit. But I'm doing better now, and we
How
do.
Old are you? How old are you?
I'm 61 now.
Oh, you're a baby. I'm 69. I just look young in pictures.
That's what she said. So
what were you talking about, Kevin Pollak?
Oh, I used to work with Kevin in San Jose when Togo's only had the two shops, and he would always imitate the prior customer. And the Togos they had back then, they didn't move you down a line. You just walked up to a sandwich maker, and Kevin was so darn funny then, and then his career started to take off. He started to get on the Carson show, and he got paneled, and then he started getting movies. But Kevin could imitate anybody he'd ever heard. And back in the early 70s, he'd sell cassette tapes for outgoing messages for folks for like $3 or $5 or something like that. He would imitate some movie star for their outgoing message for their answering machines. Amazing gentleman.
So he was good at voices, huh?
Oh, well, he did that whole Star Trek thing where he had real actors playing in the Star Trek roles. So he'd imitate those guys. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Kevin's pretty hilarious, I must admit.
So your name is Chris Anderson, right?
That be me. I can really recommend a book called Musicophilia by Oliver Sacks.
Yeah.
That book deals with music in a non-traditional viewpoint, how music affects people in a psychological fashion, or people with various mental maladies are brought back together through music, or people in comas are brought out of comas with music, different things like that.
That's
very
cool.
Powerful book, Musicophilia, Oliver Sacks.
Wow, that'd be great.
Yeah,
any more books you want to recommend?
Not of that nature right off the bat. There's so very many. I must say.
Have you ever read Stranger in a Strange Land?
No, I have not. People have told me I have to read this book, but I've not read it yet.
That's my favorite book in the world. I read it like in the 60s.
Let me write that down.
It's by Robert Heinlein.
Right. I always see references on the internet.
That was kind of our Bible back in the 60s. It explained the whole thing to me. I was always looking for, what's it all about, and that book explained it for some reason. And my daughter, by the time I tried to get her to read it from the time she was born. By the time she was 8, she actually read the book, and then she read it 50 times after that. After that, she understood me. Before that, yeah, it's a great book. It's about a guy that goes to Mars. Well, these people go to Mars, the spaceship goes up to Mars, and they're couples and stuff. And so 2 of them that weren't married, they were married couples, but 2 of them that weren't married had this baby, and the baby is the only one that survived. They all ended up dying somehow or another, but the baby was on Mars and raised by Martians. Now, Martians weren't humans. They were these big things. They never really described. They're like billowing sails or something, and they kind of leave them. They're all one sex. They're all boys, and they just bounce around like furry things, and they just let them survive or not, out there until they're, puberty, and then they bring them in and they fertilize them and they have babies, and then they all become they're all females, and they all become males. So first the bouncy ones are females, and then when they bring them in, then they fertilize them, they have babies, and then they all become males, and then the males run the world. And then after they're dead, they still are alive. That's who actually runs Mars, is the dead people.
Curious.
So it's quite heavy.
I like that. I like your intro song. Everybody's crazy but me. I've not heard that.
I wrote that.
That's you performing? That's
yeah.
great.
I wrote it, and I'm singing it and everything. All those songs are mine. I wrote that in L.A. back in about 1985. I used to hang out with Captain Ed of Heads and Highs and Van Nuys, the oldest head shop in Van Nuys. And I used to have a love in L.A. every year for 10 years. And him and all the head shop people used to come to my love-ins. And George Clayton Johnson, the writer of Star Trek and stuff, he used to come.
Sure.
So anyway, it was New Year's Eve, and me and my daughter, she was probably about 8 or so, we were driving out to his house in Van Nuys to a party. And we stopped to get some coffee at a restaurant, some coffee to go. And when I came out, somebody had dumped a Coca-Cola all over my windshield, so it was all sticky. And I said, everybody's fucking crazy but me, you know. and I said, that would make a good song. And so I wrote it down, and then over the next couple of weeks, you know, I wrote a little here and there, and then I went out to Santa Barbara with a friend of mine, and I seen all these in the water. And that's where Rape in the Ocean, which was Derek's for oil, lusting for money, Divvy's spoils. That's where that line came from. And then the last line, somebody stole that one. The Evergreen, or is there a band called Everclear? Everclear, I think it's called. My daughter recently, you know, when it came out 5-10 years ago,
made a discovery.
My daughter said she had heard it on the radio, and she hates my songs. So she said, I hate the song, and then I listened to it, and they stole your whole last verse from Everybody's Crazy. Not the chorus, but the whole last verse where it says, sell your soul for what you think you need. Some call it survival, some call it creed. What's pound flesh worth today? Go ahead and sell it or give away. They stole that whole part. So it was somebody that played at Al's Bar, you know.
Wow.
I used to play at Al's Bar in L.A.'s Punk Club. I played there every week for 12 years. And so they had stole the whole last verse and put it in a song that was on the radio.
Did you ever think about maybe getting some compensation for that, eh?
Nah, fuck them. But I don't care. Somebody else stole the line, I've got a song called You Make Me Feel Like a Whore. And they stole just that line, You Make Me Feel Like a Whore, and put it in a song that had nothing to do with nothing. It had nothing to do with that. They just took that one line and threw it in their song, and it just didn't make any sense at all. Where mine is, you know, made sense. I write stories. I write sometimes political, but mostly social comments. I don't write about me. I listen to what people are talking about. I write.
Well, you know, in the news, there was the shooting down in Santa Barbara.
Yeah, I know. My goodness, there's a whole lot of those kids watching all those video games. So they're shooting things from when they were born. So they really relate to kill, 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 kill.
Well,
goodness.
There's a mindset by the NRA, it would seem, that you just don't approach the subject. But one of the police officers who arrived on scene was interviewed, and he indicated, until we really focus on the problem, everybody looks at this problem as a political problem, but it's a moral issue. And until we approach it as a moral issue, folks of greed will be winning on this subject. It's very sad.
Yeah. They got to make money to sell those guns, you know.
Oh, jeepers. Oh, it's just so tragic. I mean, it's so very tragic and unnecessary, you know. You just see it all the time. All the time.
If he had to go out there and fight with his hands, he couldn't have killed that many people was that a gun.
No,
But the
between
first people he killed was with a knife. You got to understand that it isn't just guns. The first 3 people, his roommates, he killed with a knife. He stabbed them.
Interesting point.
So it had nothing to do with guns, the first one.
That's true, but still, between now and, say, Halloween, or between now and Thanksgiving, how many of these things are going to occur? How many more?
Well, like I said, I really think it's those games. They've got these games that the whole object of the game is to kill. I mean, kill. That's how you get your points. That's how you advance. That's how you conquer the world is kill. That's all they do in these games. And they're playing them since they're born. My daughter gave her
that's
son
a very strong
a computer
aspect, yes.
That ever since he's born, he can play those things like crazy, and all he thinks about is weapons. And give him a stick, and it's a weapon, you know. If they think killing is where it's at, then they try to act it out sometime later.
That is true. It's interesting. If you look at the media,
whatever you put in is what's going to be there. If you put that in your head, that kill is the answer to everything, that's where you're going to result,
If you look at the media we had in the 50s and early 60s, I mean, the music we were given from the Walt Disney World or what have you, there was so many positive things. Our cartoons were far more superior because they had huge teams of people putting these cartoons together with symphonic music. So we got a better education in the world of media back then than what's happening now, and that's a bit disturbing.
They were taught that love was the answer. That there was beauty in the world, and now everything's ugly and horrible and kill and grab and it used to have people had values, that you weren't supposed to steal and you weren't supposed to lie and you weren't supposed to talk dirty. And if you talk dirty, they'll smack you in the mouth for it.
Yeah, but now the king is money. And people do obscure things for that money.
Yeah, but killing and twerking and talking dirty. Oh, God, the songs. My goodness, the stuff that they put on TV, I can't believe it.
Yeah, I still watch a certain amount of television, but not as much as I used to. It's just
the Kardashians. My goodness.
Only saw a segment of that.
How she got famous was by putting out a porno movie of her getting it on and saying that somebody stole it and put it out. That's how she got famous. And then her mother has sold her like hotcakes ever since then.
God, that's just a riot. That's just a riot. Well,
And Miley Cyrus, the Disney's little angel girl, is now out there trying to outvogue everybody else. And that Katy Perry is now making pornos with Madonna, she used to be a church girl.
A person's denomination's not vital to me, but it is curious, though, that ever since the MTV came out, the music became secondary, and now that there's more electronic music, the discipline of owning up to a musical instrument is far less. Now you hear more guitarists than ever just strumming and using the guitar as a slight vehicle for their poetry or lyric, where before there was greater skill in understanding the operation of an instrument.
Yeah, there's still musicians out there. They just ain't getting heard. Because I play at open mics all the time. There's always musicians coming out there. Just they're not putting them out there. So it was really great that you called in and covered for me, Chris. So now I'm going to have to get a whole bunch of pictures of you off your website and put it on this thing. So this is now your show.
There's a few out there from the 4th of July show you may want to arrive from.
Okay, well, put all the pictures you can up on your site, and I'll put them with us. And
you flatter me so.
Look on my YouTube, and you'll see your show and all the other shows, all 71 of them.
I really want to thank you very much for having me on today. That's quite a treat. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. This is the Girl George and the Dragons Radio Show saying, see you later, alligator.
Wait.
Everybody's crazy but me. Everybody's nutty as can be. Forming gangs, waging wars, paint the names upon the door. You against me, us versus them, no communication.